At the start of this year, I set myself a challenge to completely transform my life in the next 365 days. But this wasn't about making big dramatic changes overnight. It wasn't about completely overhauling my lifestyle or trying to become a completely different version of myself when the clock struck 12 on New Year's Eve. This was about making small, sustainable changes. The idea was one small positive action every day for 365 days. I call it the This Time Next Year challenge, and here's how that's panning out 6 months later. Hey friends, it's me, Amy Rebecca, your internet bestie for all things personal development, intentional living, and dream chasing. We are here with a Q2 goal check-in. And before anyone says it, I know this is late, but I was away for pretty much the whole of June, so my video schedule went out the window. But here we are, finally getting around to it, a month late. Today is all about reflecting on Q2, so looking back at the goals I set for myself, celebrating the wins, mourning the losses, and then looking forward to Q3 and setting new short-term goals to get me through the next few months. And you know what this is not going to be? It's not going to be a highlight reel. It's not going to be the filtered Instagram version of my life. It's going to be the honest version. And some things about the last few months have gone really well, and some things have not. Because Q2 definitely had some plot twists, I'll tell you that much. Now, before we jump into the actual goals themselves, let's rewind a little bit and reflect back on Q2 as a whole. What was the vibe? Now, you may remember if you watched my Q1 goals update, that first chunk of the year, oh my gosh, it was like wading through quicksand. It just felt so slow. Felt like I wasn't really making progress in any particular direction. The time seemed to be dragging. I was bored. I'm not a winter girly, okay? It's not for me. Those January blues eked out throughout February and March. But then Q2 hit and it was like bam, everything went into hyperspeed. And when I was prepping for this video, I was looking back at all of the things that I did in Q2, all of the things I achieved, all of the ways that I utilized my time and what I invested my time and energy into over those 3 months. And I'm like, girl, how are you still standing at the end of that? It was so much. I racked up some pretty exciting achievements in Q2. So I accomplished one of my little fitness goals, which was to hip thrust 100 kilos. At the start of Q2, I was hip thrusting 40 kilos, so I more than doubled the weight. I am so thrilled to have achieved that because I remember when my trainer Cherie, we were working together in booty camp and she was like, your goal is going to be to hip thrust 100 kilos. And I was like, couldn't be me, couldn't be she, not these glutes. I just didn't see that as a possibility for me. It seemed so far removed from where I was. And then over the space of just 3 months, I achieved that. Just goes to show a lot of the time we do underestimate ourselves and what we can achieve. Secondly, I ran the Race for Life 10K. I walked some of it and I almost cried, but I didn't, which is a big improvement from my first 10K I did 2 years ago where I definitely did cry. I'm still not a runner by trade, by definition, by body construct, by mental feelings. I do not like to run, but I did it. I did the 10K and I'm proud of myself for that. I raised another £300 for Thrive Domestic Abuse Services. I have gotten into the swing now of trying to raise at least a little bit of money for them every quarter. And I think since I started doing that, if I haven't surpassed the £2,000 mark at this point, then I'm very, very close. I don't know off the top of my head, but that is a really tangible example of how consistency, those small things, they do add up. And when you reflect back, you're like, oh my gosh, that's a lot. I performed at a dance show on stage in front of people with ice in their heads, looking at me. This was a wild one. I've been going to a dance class for a few years at this point. It's one of the first scary things I did to push myself out of my comfort zone when I found myself at the basement of rock bottom a few years ago. I'm not a good dancer, okay? Rhythm, she doesn't know me and she doesn't want to, but I enjoy it. I have good friends there. It's something I do because it's just for joy, which, side note, you're allowed to do things as an adult, even if you suck at them. We so often fall into this trap of thinking we need to be good at things. We need to improve. We need to get better. We need to do things that we excel at. No, girl. Do the things you enjoy, even if you suck. That's fine. Anyway, so it came about that my dance teacher had been invited for us to go to be part of like a variety show. I wasn't gonna do it. I was scared for my life. Well, not for my life, but just I was scared. And I did it, and I was so proud of myself. And I was like, oh my gosh, who is she up on stage in a bralette? We don't know her. And then the last achievement of note for Q2 was coming first runner-up at Pageant Girl UK, which is a national level pageant. All of that, mind you, in 1 quarter. Girl, where did you find the time? And all of those things seemed wildly, fantastically, unbelievably out of reach to me. If not at the beginning of this year, then very, very recently. Which I think, again, just goes to show the importance of pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. Do things that scare you. Do things that you feel like you can't do. None of us have any idea what we're doing, by the way. As we go through life, we are all very much just faking it till we make it. Someone came up to me the other day and said, I wish that I could enter a pageant, but it couldn't be me. And I'm like, girl, if it can be me, it can be literally anyone. Because first time I walked on a stage, I had no concept of what I was doing at all. And still, to some extent, I am faking it till I make it. And I came first runner up. So a lot of times we look at people who are achieving things and going out there and doing the things that we wish we could do. And we think that they are more advanced, they have more knowledge, they are more skilled, when a lot of the time they are just taking a very terrified plunge and doing it anyway. And so I recommend that to you. If there's something that you want to do, don't wait until you feel ready, because you won't. Ever. Do it now. Learn as you go. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Another thing is that with all I achieved in Q2 of this year, I literally sat down to script out this video and think, okay, what am I going to include? And my initial reaction before I actually looked back at my evidence of what I had done was like, I haven't really done that much. I didn't even realize or recognize how much I had achieved, because like so many people, I am immediately moving on to the next goal. I'm like, okay, what is the next challenge? What is the next thing I want to achieve? How can I increase that weight? How can I run further? How can I, do something else? And you get so focused on moving forward that sometimes you forget to look back at what you've already achieved. And also, the more you achieve, the more you push yourself. And so your expectation or your view of like success keeps growing. And so if you're not careful, you don't really ever realize how far you have come. And so something that I recommend inside of my This Time Next Year Success Blueprint, which is my online course, by the way, subtle plug, it is always linked in the description box. But within that, one of the recommendations that I make to my students is take photos. Document your small positive actions. Snap a photo of your walk. Take a photo of that healthy meal you've made. Film a cute little time lapse of you decluttering your wardrobe. Or if you don't want to have visual documentation, then write it down. And that way you can always reflect back on all of these steps you've taken, all of these positive actions that you have done. Because if you don't, you might start taking them for granted and not realize like the bigger picture. Alas, it was not all good news in Q2. Q2 also brought one of the biggest curveballs of the year for me so far. I mean, we're only halfway through. Something else could be coming. But I found out that I was being made redundant. Actually, by the time you're watching this, I may officially be unemployed. Surface level, this is not fantastic news, obviously. Ultimately, I am working on becoming happier, healthier, and wealthier. And that wealthier part is difficult when you have no income. But I am choosing to see this as a positive thing for two main reasons. Number one, how I feel about it actually has no impact on what is happening. So whether I want to sit around and cry about it all day, or I choose to see it as a positive, it's not actually going to have any bearing on the end result. So I may as well choose to feel good about it. Number two, I feel like this is going to ultimately be a good thing for me. Back in January, when I went back to work after Christmas, I had this like nagging feeling in my gut that something wasn't right. Like I just didn't feel aligned to my work anymore. It wasn't challenging me anymore. I didn't have that same passion and interest for it. And I felt stuck. And now the universe is like, girl, you're unstuck. Also unemployed, but unstuck. So yeah, it was unexpected, but sometimes life makes these decisions for you and you just gotta make the best of it and roll with it, which is what I will be doing now. It's not like you ever get to an imaginary finish line in life where it's like, congratulations, you will now have no setbacks ever again. You're always going to be hit with bad news or things you weren't expecting. The key is just to learn to pivot, make the best of it. So with all of that said, let's now reflect back on my Q2 goals, which I have conveniently documented in my This Time Next Year life planner. So I actually created this planner to use alongside my This Time Next Year challenge. It's not just a planner to help you keep track of appointments and all of the things that you've got going on in your life, although it does do that. It is intentionally designed to help you create the life you want over the course of 365 days. So there are worksheets in here to help you set goals, figure out the habits and routines and changes that you need to make in your life. There's space to record all of your progress in different areas of your life, different challenges along the way. There's space to track your habits every month. There's space, of course, like we're talking about today, for quarterly goals. And it's completely undated, because to my core, I do not think that you need to wait until January to change your life. You can start changing your life on like a random Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Again, this is always linked down in the description box if you want to order a copy. But let's take a look at my Q2 goals. Here they are. Okay, goal 1 was to replace my car, because I've been talking about that for a really long time. Technically, I did not achieve that in Q2, although I have achieved it since. So I think it was about 2 weeks after we wrapped up Q2 that I finally went and purchased my car, traded my Audi in, and I will be talking about that a little bit more in my monthly budgeting update that's coming soon, in a couple of days. Goal 2 was to start reading a new personal development book, and I did. I started reading The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. I've listened to the Mel Robbins podcast for years. I follow her on Instagram. I really like the content that she puts out. This is the first book of hers that I've read, and I'm about a third of the way through. Not loving it. Like, again, I'm not done with it yet, so my mind might be changed. I think a lot of it is stuff that, seems common sense. And maybe that's because I've done a great deal of therapy. This is not my first personal development book. I live and breathe this stuff. So maybe if you were new to the personal development space, it would be a bit more valuable to you. But at the moment, I'm not sold. My third goal was to run at least once a week. And I did manage to maintain that throughout April, May, and then June, like I said, I was away for pretty much the entire month. And no, I did not run when I was in Italy. It was like 34 degrees, I could barely stand. So I would consider that a partial success. Goal 4 was to reintroduce my email newsletter, and I did do that. I relaunched it. I was very consistent with it up until a few weeks ago, where I stopped being consistent with it, and I'm going to get back to that. I will. And number 5 was to finish listing my clothes on Vinted, which I did do. I now have more clothes to list because it is a never-ending cycle, but the clothes that I had at that point, I did list them all. So I would consider that a success. I would say 5 out of 5. I know technically I didn't run during June, so let's call it 4.5 out of 5. Let's delve into my social media numbers for Q2. I think this is an interesting thing to share. I am actively, maybe I haven't been putting that much effort into it, but I would like to grow my social media platforms, because obviously as those platforms grow, it gives me greater opportunities to earn more money, which is ultimately going to contribute towards, being happier, healthier, and wealthier. Also, you guys know me, I am just a numbers nerd. I live for the data. So in Q2, I gained 248 followers on TikTok, 227 followers on Instagram, and 448 followers on YouTube. So there is progress, but it is baby progress. It is slow. It's slow. I guess the good thing is, now that I am unemployed, I will have plenty of time to pour into making content. Now let's take a look at the goals that I set for myself for Q3. By the way, I am dying. It is so freaking hot in this room. I'm not okay. I'm gonna try and put the fan on. I'm sorry if it's noisy, but I'm hoping that with the new microphone, it will reduce some of the background noise. That is my ardent wish, but we shall find out. Anyway, I've set my new goals for Q3, which are as follows. Number 1, update my website and the This Time Next Year landing page. I have a website. I used to blog, and my website has fallen into a little bit of disarray. It's been neglected. I haven't posted anything on there in a really long time. And since WordPress updated their way of editing pages, I can't figure it out. So I am going to dedicate some time within Q3 to like learning how to use this new setup, updating the website and making sure that everything is very clear. Like I want more information about the This Time Next Year challenge on there, about the planner, about the course. I want it to be cohesive because at the moment it's a bit like chaotic. Goal 2 is to cross another 3 things off my 2026 bingo card. That should be easy. Number 3 was to run the Swansea Bay 10k. Like I said, I did run the Race for Life 10k earlier this year and it was a little bit of a struggle. So I was like, maybe I can build up my endurance and work on, you know, improving my time. And then I injured my knee and then I tore my quad muscle. So we will in fact be removing that as a goal. For a while I was holding out hope that I would be able to like rehab and get back to it, but it's not enough time. Like it's just not enough time for me to train to get back up to a 10k because obviously during this time of my injury I haven't run at all. So I'm going to be replacing that goal with something a little bit different. I'm actually going to set myself the challenge throughout Q3 of completing 40 intentional workouts. And I really like this goal because having just sustained an injury and being, you know, set back on all of my workouts and being limited to what I can do, I like the flexibility of this. Because an intentional workout could just be a 20-minute walk. It could be a weight session. It could be a dance class. It could be a yoga class. I like that flexibility as I continue to rehab my leg and don't know what I'm going to be able to do, but it helps to build consistency, which is ultimately the most important thing when you're working towards, you know, health and fitness goals anyway. Goal 4 is to read 3 more books. I'm really trying to stay consistent with that reading habit. And goal 5 is to plan another fundraiser for Thrive Domestic Abuse Services. Because like I said, I want to make that a consistent quarterly thing. And the final thing that we are going to check in on is my 2026 bingo card. I made this at the start of the year. This is just such a fun little activity to do to help you stay intentional with your time throughout the year. Every box has something that I want to do throughout 2026. Not necessarily a goal or an accomplishment, but just a place I want to visit, a workout class I want to try, something that I keep saying, oh yeah, I'm going to do that one day. Well, now I've got it on the board and I'm working my way through them. Because otherwise I find you say like, oh, I really want to go to that one restaurant one day. And then 3 years pass and it closes down and you never went. I managed to cross quite a few things off my bingo card in Q3. So I swam in the sea. I went to a yoga class. I went swimming, like in a pool as well as the sea, and I ran 5k and then 10. Although 10 wasn't on the list because I did say to myself at the beginning of this year, 5 is enough. And then I don't know when enough is enough, so I signed up for 10k. Okay, that was a lot of information, but here's a key takeaway. We are officially halfway through the year. I mean, technically we are more than halfway through the year because this video is a month late, but that means we still have 5 months to completely change the trajectory of our lives. And that sounds melodramatic, but it's possible. When I look at what I achieved in just Q2, it makes me really optimistic for what is to come in Q3 and Q4. So this is your sign to start today if you haven't already. This doesn't need to be a January thing. Sit down, decide what do you want to look different in your life? How can you start making that a reality? I have some free resources that you can download. Again, I will link those in the description box along with the This Time Next Year Life Planner and the This Time Next Year Success Blueprint. All you really need to do is decide what the end goal is and then turn up every single day and just take one small step towards that. We do not need massive overnight change. We do not need to be like, oh, well, I want to start running, so let me sign up for a marathon. No, girl, just start by like running for 3 minutes, do the couch to 5k. We don't need that 75 hard, all or nothing mindset. I'd love to know what goals you are working towards in Q3 because I am nosy. Please remember that you are enough just as you are. I love you so much and I will see you guys soon. Oh, don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Please. Bye, guys.